Jeff, you're on with Wolfgang.
How are you, man?
Hello.
Well, that's a dumb question. I know. I've been. Let me just start off by saying this. Is it? I've heard it three different ways. I've heard it Wolf, Wolfie, and Wolfgang. What do you prefer?
Wolf is fine.
Okay, Wolf. Sorry, man. I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk to you, man. I watched so much stuff yesterday. The Stern stuff that made me cry and tear up. And then just a lot of old stuff with your dad. And first and foremost, just want to congratulate you on your song because, well, as you mentioned in the Stern interview, when you talked to your dad about what if my music sucked, you know, I think a lot of people, they don't know you. They know you as the son of Eddie Van Halen. So when I heard that song, not only emotional, I was very pleased to hear what a great song it was and what a great job you did.
Oh, thank you, man. That means a lot.
Let me ask you this. Is that the type of song, Distance, that we can expect to hear from Wolf Van Halen? Is that like the direction? Like what's the overall vibe of Mammoth WVH?
I think you can expect to hear that vibe in a couple songs, but overall, it's definitely more of a rock, more aggressive sound type of record. I think the way I like to describe it is that there's kind of a core sound to Mammoth WVH, and then like over to the left, it gets a little softer with a few songs, and then over to the right, it gets a little heavier. But I guess people will have to see when the album comes out.
Right. What about influences for you, Wolf? Like obviously Van Halen, but I mean, you know, you're a younger guy, so what else were you kind of listening to that influenced you, you think, you know, into your music?
Two big influences for this project alone, definitely Dave Grohl and Trent Reznor with Foo Fighters and Nine Inch Nails, just because I love that it started with them as kind of a passion project and just wanting to play music, and that it kind of evolved from that, but they're still known as like the dudes of the projects.
Right.
But yeah, another band that is one of my favorite bands and biggest influences is Jimmy Eat World. I really love that band.
Wow. I remember I was just heard the song Bleed America the other day, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This was the first time I ever heard of Jimmy Eat World. And it's so funny that you brought up Dave Grohl, too, because I was just watching all this stuff with my wife last night, all these videos and the interviews with you, and I was like, man, this is just like the first Foo Fighters record, which in my opinion is their best. And
it's a great album.
Weenie Beanie is probably like one of my favorite songs of all time, but it was Dave Grohl that composed the whole album.
Yeah, written and performed.
And you recorded every instrument, correct?
Yeah, written and performed.
Wow. You were just, I mean, this was destined to be your job. I mean, watching the video for Distance, you're sitting on your dad's lap while he's playing piano, and you're gawking at him as a baby while he's shredding on guitar. You know, I mean, it was like you couldn't miss this. This had to be what you did.
Yeah. It's just kind of, I fell into it. It was never really a conscious decision. It just kind of happened.
What happened when you were younger, Wolf? Did you like play sports? Did you play popcorn or football or like?
Yeah, I played basketball and soccer. I was a good goalie. I love playing goalie.
Right.
Or like t-ball, baseball. I remember I stopped playing baseball once the kids started pitching because this one kid threw a ball at me so many times and it hit me and it really hurt. So I told my mom, please pull me out of this. I don't like it.
When is the album going to come out? Is the album finished? Because there was this one interview that I watched. It was like a really weird one, like a PBS kind of thing where like all these fans were asking questions. And I think you and your uncle were actually in the audience, but your dad was talking about how, you got to hear Wolf's stuff is coming out pretty soon. It's incredible. It seemed like it was just a few years ago. So have you been sitting on an album for a while?
No, I recorded way more after that point. I think I only had a few songs recorded by then. But I finished, for the most part, recording what will be on the album in 2018. But there was a bunch of ideas that kind of fell off the wayside, and Distance was one of them, and I decided to finish it after what happened 2 months ago. And but yeah, I certainly have been working working on all this for a very long time.
Did your dad get to hear the song?
Oh yeah, he heard everything and he loved it. He would countless times he'd be like, favorite album of all time.
The video. I'm getting emotional. I don't even know the guy, okay? So I can imagine what's going through your mind. Have you been able to really watch that video from beginning to end?
Yeah, I had to watch it about 20 times when we were putting it together, and that was no easy feat. Thankfully, my editor Chuck did such a wonderful job putting it all together that I could really put my faith in him, and only need a couple things tweaked here and there. But yeah, it's still, I don't think I've actually watched it fully since we've released it.
It was so personal, and I thought it was so cool that you let people inside, because I didn't have to see that like that. I mean, I was glad I did. But creepy Van Halen fans, or you didn't have to let people into your world like that. And I was kind of wondering why you decided to be so personal and let people into your world.
In order for people to understand the pain I'm going through, I think you kind of have to let them in that closely so they know what I've lost. And so I think that's why the video seems so personal, almost to a staggering amount where you feel like you shouldn't be watching it.
Every interview you see, what a great guy he is. Just a humble, just a genuinely nice guy. And it's obviously rubbed off on you. But just to see how caring he was as a father and telling you he loved you, the freaking voicemail at the end of the thing was a tearjerker as well. Like, I thought that was really, really cool for people to see, because they might not know that that's what Eddie Van Halen was like when the lights were turned off.
Yeah, I think it was important to have everybody know that.
I mean, Wolf, this is a father, this is a best friend, a bandmate. Wolf was 15 years old when he joined Van Halen, went out on the road and toured. Tell me some of the experiences that you had in Van Halen as a 15-year-old kid.
I think they did a really good job at making sure that it wasn't crazy. It's not like it was in the heyday,
right?
Where it's just like crazy partying every day. They're all dads and older dudes. So it really wasn't that crazy. It was just a whole bunch of hanging in my hotel room playing video games.
Wow.
Or going out to dinner with that, or going to a movie or something like that.
All right, Wolf, here it comes. You got to pick one, Sammy or Dave. Who you got?
I prefer both. I think the war is stupid. the same guy wrote the music. So
right.
when you sit there and go, I hate that other side, you're basically saying you hate that guy you love so much. Like you owe it to yourself to at least try the other side if you're so adamant about listening to one or the other.
Yeah, I don't know why people get like it's a competition, because I when 5150 came out, I was the first one to get Live Without a Net, best of both worlds. One of the greatest riffs in my opinion. But there are those. It's a 50-50. I mean, there are people. There's a 50-50 Dave, 50-50 Hagar, and I notice here in Florida people lean Hagar. So. Listen, man, I don't want to take up any more of your time. It was a real pleasure speaking with you. I'm a giant fan of your dad's. And
no worries, man.
When I heard your song for the very first time, I had a best friend that died nearly 4 years ago that I worked with on the radio. And your song dug up a lot of emotions for me. So I found it very relatable.
Anybody who's ever had a significant loss in their life, I think, can relate to the song.
No doubt. So, Wolf, great talking to you. Mammoth, WVH, Distance is the name of the song. You can check out the video up on our website. All the best of luck to you, man.
Thanks so much, man. This was a pleasure.
You're a good kid. Your parents did a great job. You're a really nice kid.
Thanks, man. Thanks so much.
Take care, man.
Have a good one.